welcome back to the Sandbeast YouTube channel. My name is David Foxen and Happy New Year! Before we start, please do not forget to like and subscribe as it really helps the channel out. So as we have now entered firmly into 2025, you have decided that this is going to be the year that you focus on implementing or maturing or even changing your IT asset disposition. So ITAD is a huge role within ITAM. ITAD basically is the end of the life of an IT asset, so it's reached the end of the useful life within your organization, and you go and look to retire it and hopefully get some value out of it at the end of it. This is through like resale, you can even do donations, or just making sure that it's been disposed of correctly following your local laws and regulations. But one of the main benefits, like I said, is getting that tiny bit of value back for that asset at the end of its life. And for that, you need a dedicated IT asset disposition partner, ITAD partner, and there are loads out there on the market. But what do you need to be finding out before picking the right one for you? And that's what we're going to discuss today. So point number one when looking for an ITAD partner is their accreditations. What accreditations do they have? Are they ADISA accredited? So that's the Asset Disposal and Information Security Alliance. Yes, I had to read it off the screen to remember what it was called because we use acronyms in ITAM and sometimes you need a prompt as to what that actually means. You've also got the ISO 27001, which is the International Standard for Information Security. And you also want them to be certified for ISO 14001, which is the environmental management when it relates to e-waste. So very important accreditation straight off the bat, and there are some other ones that are relevant locally to you depending on where the office is, where your organisation is based, or even which sites you're having collections from and that you need to adhere to. So always make sure that you look at your local laws and regulations for e-waste and reselling hardware and equipment and stuff like that to make sure that the ITAD provider can cover all of those. But yeah, really important, they're the basic accreditations that you need to make sure that they have and that they can provide so that nothing nasty happens along the line when you end up getting your disposal certificates and that you've got that proof and evidence that you as an organisation have been doing your bit and following those local laws and regulations. The next question that I would be asking is, what is your geographical scope? Where can you help us? If you're a global organisation, you're going to want to know that they can support all of your global locations. And if that particular ITAD partner can't support those global locations, do they have partners that can come and collect and support the global initiatives that you have for ITAD? If they do use partners, you're going to want to know who they are, what accreditations they have, all of the same that we're going through in this list now to make sure that they meet the standards that you are requiring of them as an ITAD partner. You won't manage this relationship directly, but still it's your equipment that's being ITADed, that's being disposed of or resold. So you're going to want to know that those partners that the ITAD provider can provide are up to scratch and follow the same standards, certifications, etc. that you would expect of the primary ITAD part. The other question that we're going to be asking is, what data destruction tools are you using? Typical examples of this include Blanco. Blanco is kind of the most widely used tool that you can use for complete data erasure. And then if Blanco fails, you've got to crush that hard drive, I'm afraid. There is no alternative. If a tool like Blanco cannot erase the data securely, you've got to destroy the hard drive. And there's certain parameters that you have to destroy that hard drive to as well. But yeah, ask them what tools they're using to securely wipe and secure your data when you send it off to them, and what their backup plan is in the event that a tool like Blanco doesn't work correctly. Like I said, that backup plan should be to shred the physical hard drive itself. But get that in clarity, get that down in writing so that you have that clear mutual understanding. If it cannot be Blancoed, we are going to dispose of it in this way, and we are going to destroy the hard drive using this method to secure your organization's data. In conjunction with this, I also like to ask for an example of the certificate that they provide, the data destruction certificate, the sale certificate as well that you can get, any collection certificates, whatever that would look like for me as a customer. If I were to use their services, I want to see all of the certificates that I could get, the kind of format they're in. Is it one for each serial number? Is it just like one big PDF document with all the serial numbers that they've ITADed? Show me. I want to be able to see what a real life scenario Within reason. Obviously, they're not going to send you some other customer information, are they? But I want to see a real life example of what kind of certification I should expect to receive as a customer of this ITAD provider. Next up, I would really like to see an example of the process. How does it work? What's expected of me? What's expected of the team that are local? Do we have to put it onto a pallet? How does the collection work? How long is the processing going to take? How long until we see a credit note? Etc, etc. Really walk through that end-to-end process with the ITAD provider. Again, so you know what to expect. You know what's going to be in the contract when you come to sign it. You know the time frame, expectations, and then you can set those internally as well to senior management. They're like, where's all our money? We sent off all this hardware months ago. Where is it all? And you go, whoa, steady on. They've got 100-day turnaround time. They've still got some time left. So yeah, really walk through with the ITAD providers. Go through that end-to-end process of what a collection looks like, what a resale would look like, what a disposal would look like, what credit notes look like, all of that kind of stuff. And they should have some really useful documentation that you can look at. Also some case studies from some success stories with other customers on how they've processed all of their hardware. They might have done a mass refresh or an office move, something like that. It'd be really good to get real life examples on how these processes work. Because as we all know in ITAM, processes are amazing, but sometimes they can just be pixels on a screen and not what is the reality. Speaking of evidence, I also want to see evidence that they are GDPR compliant and WE compliant. The Waste Electric and Electronical Equipment Mandate. Again, every time I say that, it is such a mouthful. It's taken me a few tries just to get that one. And that's basically the EU regulation that defines how you should be handling e-waste. Everyone knows what GDPR is. Keeping data secure, keeping personal information secure, doesn't get leaked, doesn't get sold, etc, etc. So I want to see evidences on how they are managing that as well. You could tie this into the certification and the e-waste side of things with the ISO standards to see if, how they're doing GDPR and WE. But yeah, just a really another big consideration for when picking an ITAD partner and making sure you're finding the right one for you. I also want to know a bit more about their organisation. How long have they been an ITAD provider for? Where are their warehouses? Where will they be processing our equipment? If we've got equipment in the UK, where does it go? If it's in Europe, where does it go? APAC, where does it go? Americas, where does it go? East Coast, West Coast, Central? I want to know the location for the warehouses, where our equipment is going. Remember, it's still technically our responsibility, the organisation's responsibility, until you get that resale reference or certificate or that destruction certificate. So I want to know where it's going, where are their warehouses, what kind of organisation they are, how many people that work for them, where their head office is, who their key contacts are. Will I have an account manager? Will I have a service delivery manager? Will someone help me during the implementation phase? Who can I escalate things to? Just more things about the organisation. And something else I like asking ITAD companies is how green are they? What are their ESG commitments? What is their green IT initiatives over the next X amount of years? And the typical answer is, net zero. They're going to move to They're going to move to electric vehicles for collections. Going to be more green in how they do the transportation, etc. But yeah, really get a feel for the organisation. See how seriously they're taking green IT. And how seriously they're taking the ESG standards as well. Because then you get a really good feel as to, are they just talking the talk or are they actually walking the walk as well? And if they're walking the walk, that gives you more assurances and that warm fuzzy feeling that, yeah, these guys are probably going to be right for us. I always love to get a bit more of an understanding of the organisation that we're going to be working with, because they are going to be a key stakeholder and a key partner for ITAM and the organisation. And if they've got, a really good mentality, strategy, goals, etc., that they're trying to strive to and achieve to when it comes to ESG and green IT, and they've got evidences of that, it just helps that process a bit more. It helps sell working with this ITAD provider internally as well, because they hopefully share the same goals and initiatives as the organisation that you're working for to do ITAD. Just getting into the nitty-gritty bits now, if they have a portal where I can track the collections and the data destruction certificates, the disposal certificates, the resale values, etc., and some commentary around the grading as to why they got that grade, why it's been processed the way it is, why we got that money back for it. I really want a demo of the portal. I want to see what kind of reports we can get. I want to see how updated it is. Is it live? Do you only update it once a week, during the collection? What stages can I see in there? Can I drill down into the serial numbers? Can I get my certificates in there for WE and the ISO standards and all of that kind of stuff? What can I see from your portal if they have one at all? If they don't have a portal, it goes back to I want to see evidences of the reports that they send out as an account manager or as a service delivery manager to me so that I can see what I can expect. Because I'm going to need to be adding these certificates somewhere within my ITAM SharePoint page, my document hub for evidences for future audits, and within my AMDB. And it's always so much easier and nicer if that ITAD partner has a portal that you can just go straight in, look at that collection, get all the PDFs, get all the certificates, get the Excel file or whatever format that shows the list of serial numbers, the grade it got and why. They're always so good and so useful. You're not relying on email tennis going back and forth with, what about this serial number? Can I have this certificate? Can I have this resale value? Blah, blah, blah. As if you've got a portal, then you can get all the information yourself. And finally, but by no means least, what is that split? If we are selling our equipment because it's got some value left in it or selling components of that, what is the split? What profits go to us? What profits go to you? Do you take out your processing and transportation fees from the profit and then we split that revenue? Get that clearly defined. Typically, you should always go for, at a minimum, a 70-30 profit split. That's after the ITAD company have taken out their service fees, the logistics, transportation, etc. Whatever profit is left over for that collection, 70% in your favour as the end user organisation, 30% in the ITAD company's favour. If you can get more than that, fantastic. Some organisations do give you more than that, but yeah, you don't want anything lower than that. Also, remember that you may end up having to pay them if you haven't got anything that's of any value. If it all has to be disposed of, there's lots of processing fees, logistics fees. Unfortunately, that is how ITAD works. If you've got battered old equipment where the components are worthless, the device itself is worthless, unfortunately, you're not going to get much money back and much profit back. It's just how it goes, unfortunately. And when you start up with ITAD, you'll see a lot of this where you don't actually get any money back for stuff because it's been so poorly looked after, because there's been no ITAM or ITAD mentality. You've not been thinking about the storage, you've just piled them all up and the bottom ones are bowed and the screen's cracked and all that kind of stuff. So yeah, just be really aware that sometimes you may not get profits back from it, but typically you are going to get some profit back, and over the course of the year that can go into the hundreds of thousands of dollars, euros, pounds, etc. So it is well worth doing. So they're my top tips if you're looking at ITAD this year and looking at a new or changing ITAD provider. If I've missed anything, please, of course, as always, let me know in the comments, let me know on LinkedIn. We could go into the nth degree on looking at an ITAD provider, but these are really the high level things that you need to be asking the ITAD provider, considering, talking about internally, etc. And of course, if you need any help with IT asset disposition, ITAD, HAM, SAM, whatever, feel free to get in contact with me. My details will be in the description box, or you can reach out on LinkedIn. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Really hope you found this useful. I love a bit of ITAD, as you can probably tell from all the other videos on this channel. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button, because we'll be back every week with another ITAM video, and we've got lots of really useful shorts as well. But yeah, until next time, happy ITAMing.